Okay, hi everyone. Today we are going to be reviewing our models and how to interpret the parameters. And so this is just going to be a nice simple review of material we've been looking at all semester. And so basically we're going to start by writing down just our bare bones model. And so what we're looking at here is we're looking at our dependent variable y as a function of the predictors of variables x and z. And to give this model a little bit more context, I'm going to define what these variables are. So let's just say that y equals the probability of committing a crime. We'll say that x is gender, and we'll say that z is GPA. And so what I'd like to talk about first is how do we interpret our intercept or our beta naught. And what's really important to keep in mind is that this is telling us what the average score is for y, so for the probability of crime, but when and only when x and z are at 0. And so we have to keep in mind that gender is a categorical predictor. So we're going to have to assign values to gender in order for us to be able to analyze it. GPA is continuous. And we handle these different types of variables in different ways in terms of setting them to 0. So when we're looking at gender, the common way that we'll basically assign codes to a categorical variable is that we'll use contrast codes, such as -1 and 1, or -1/2 and 1/2. And what's nice about that is that 0 is going to represent just the average of men and women. And so that's really useful to us. It's helpful to know what is the average probability of crime on average across all people. For z, however, the continuous variable, what we need to do is center this around a value that's meaningful, because it's not helpful to know the average probability of crime when GPA is at 0. That's not a logical value to us. And so typically what we'll do for that is we will take z and create a new variable that's minus the average of z. And that way when we have z here at 0, it's actually meaning when z is at its average. So what we would be looking at in this model with a redefined z is the average probability of a crime across all people and when GPA is at its average.